My project is on birds and hawks in aviation fields and how to safely deter them away from airports.
Continuation of last year's UJ Legacy Design project, better assembly, better machinability, and we did an FEA.
I tested the relationship between memory and music and whether music can increase memory productivity.
Unusually high precipitation levels in Jamestown in 2024 led to an increase in insect biodiversity.
All right, so I chose to do mine on the historical narrative behind the bombing of Hiroshima, specifically challenging the narrative that we needed to drop the nuclear bomb.
So we did a solar radiation resistant temperature probe for a high altitude air balloon.
Violent acts of white supremacy meet the legal definitions of domestic terrorism. However, our legal system has failed to identify them as such.
Mine is about titanium dioxide, which is just common used as a food colorant in different places. We find that through different routes of exposure, they can potentially create these reactive oxygen species, which can be toxic to the body.
My topic is about recycling lithium iron phosphate batteries, which is a newer compound being used in the recent years.
We did our project on making Los Angeles have better management for wildfires, and we went over 3 solutions.
My study is on how self-confidence can affect the heart rate of specifically esports athletes.
My project is online learning versus traditional classroom style learning.
The book is on climate change and how it influences infectious diseases.
The North Broadway Bridge in Fargo was overtopping due to flooding and was decommissioned, and we had to come up with a solution.
Brain-computer interfaces are restoring motor function in individuals with paralysis.
We did research on the groundwater contamination in Minnesota specifically.
What I found was athletes with higher optimism had better attainment goals in their sports.
Continuation of last year's UJ Legacy Design project, better assembly, better machinability, and we did an FEA.
I'm talking about autism spectrum disorder. I'm talking about a specific gene, CHD8, which is influenced by environmental and genetic factors.
The Tijuana and San Diego area has experienced a large growth in population since the 1980s, and this has caused them to quickly outrun all of the waste treatment.
I researched indirect effects on HIV pregnant women and vertical transmission to their infants.
So we did the conservation of the Big Hole River Basin fluvial Arctic grayling. It's the last native population in the lower 48 states.
After regulation, we saw a lot less patent medicines being advertised and a lot more services such as chiropractic.
For our project, we looked at mitigating the effects of monoculture farming. So the repeated use of one crop on a farm over and over again can cause a lot of issues.